to give you some different options. There's one basic concept that I follow for triangle choke, and it's no matter what position that I'm in, and if I can get that concept down pat, then I put myself in a good position. So we get Aaron in first. So we'll talk about a couple different ways to enter into it, right? Versus gi or no gi. Usually if I'm doing gi, I like to use the 4-finger in grip. Okay, I always push the wrist to the opposing hip. The reason why I do this is his defensive hand once I get my triangle set up. I don't want him to be able to use that hand, right? If he's able to use that hand, scoop my hip, get his hips inside, now I'm fighting his defense, right? I want to kill his defense while I'm going for my submission. So what I like to do, foot on the hip, press it in, come up high, so I'm all the way up, I block his shoulder or his arm, and I chop down. So you notice when I'm up, there's this nice pocket, I pop my hip in. Breaks his balance, right? Breaks his posture, I get him on that nice side, then I can cross my legs, and I can finish the choke, okay? Foot on the hip, push it in. Keep your hand in there, pull it out, block, drop into that pocket. And I stay here, okay? Now, I'm good. He's good. Okay. So the key concept that I need to get here, it's not about getting my legs like this. If you can finish a triangle with your legs like this is awesome. Okay, but that's not what it's about. It's getting my knees to compact on his carotid artery. So it's about this motion, right? And then I use the legs to lock it in. It's not this. Huge space here. I want this, no space, okay? So your feet might be locked over here. Your feet might be like this. Okay, I'm gonna show you how you can have a foot planted on the ground, and we're gonna like stomp the brake to get the choke, okay? But the key when I set this up is I need to hide this shoulder. I have to hide the shoulder. If I'm out here, there's lots of space, right? He digs in, I might get the choke, I might not. When I hide the shoulder, very little motion that I have to have because I'm compressing that carotid artery on both sides, okay? Think about them, they're like straws, plastic straws. Now we use those stupid paper ones, right? They're like plastic straw, you press it, release it, press it, release it. I need to compress it, right? And it really helps it when I get my legs in there, I start to twist his head and I get a tilt on all chokes because that gives me a strong compression, like 80, 90% of that carotid artery. Then I just have to pack that one, right? Just a little boop, and then he's gonna be going out or he's gonna be tapping, okay? So I don't care how you get into the standard triangle. If it's no-gi, once again, I'll do the same type of thing. I block, drop inside, bring my knee in, see how I get the head to tilt, hide the shoulder, come over top, and I finish the triangle choke. Okay, make sense? Give that a try. Okay, so this is like the best case scenario when your legs are long enough to get around to your opponent's neck and shoulder and you get in that position, right? This is the one that we're kind of taught from day one. Now I'm gonna show you after this, what if you can't get your legs over there, right? Maybe your legs are short compared to your opponent's. Okay, maybe they're doing some defense to you, how we can set up the triangle from, we'll go from guard and then I'll show you some different positions from there. Okay, let's get that one first. Remember, hide, knock the head with your inside of your thigh by the knee and hide that shoulder. You should not be able to see any daylight, any part of his body after your legs are compressing on the carotid arteries, okay? If you do see some shoulder, that means there's a gap, that means there's opportunity for him to escape. Okay, so we have to close that off completely, okay? Let's give that a quick try. So is that making sense? Right? Hiding that shoulder concept. Okay, that's all I think about when I do triangle chokes. Is how do I hide that shoulder? No matter what position I'm in. As long as I can get that leg up and across, however it is, once I can get here, I'm thinking about how do I hide that shoulder? Okay? And being on this angle, kind of me going from the shoulder to the hip, this is the ideal position for me. Because just with my leg, I can hang here. Aaron tries to posture up. It's really hard for me. Versus if I'm here, posture up, it's easy. So I can't afford to be square on if I want to finish the strong triangle if I'm just relying on that leg position. So I always want to be here, okay? But you're not always going to get that. So another setup that I like for this, where we're using the gi, is I start to set up my cross collar choke, okay? As Michael was saying, I want to bait people into doing things. He goes to touch that, I'm up. Okay, what's nice about this, this is now my leg. So I'm hiding the shoulder already. Now I can come out, cross over, squeeze my knees together, but I don't have to have this leg in super tight, and I can finish the choke. Okay? I have that collar. He's coming in. Allows me to come up and over, right? This is already helping me block his defensive hand. And I finish the choke. Okay, I'm always here squeezing and trying to scissor my knees together, okay? But what's nice about this one, this hand's inside here, so I don't have to be in as tight or cut on the angle. I'm here, I'm holding onto this arm, he presses in. I can stay square on now, but see, I'm hiding, and I can finish the choke from there, okay? And I'm not even putting any pressure, and he's ready to go up. Okay, that's a good sign of when you've got a blood choke, is at 80, 90% on, and they're already starting to give you that, like, hey, where am I kind of look, okay? So you get this one, once again, it's a nice deep collar grip, right? So I'm getting this on the carotid artery, right? When they go to push, which is a typical defense for that, it allows you to slide your leg up and over and get that chop down, and then all you have to do is just kind of squeeze your knees together and pull. If you can cross your legs over, that's awesome. If you cross your ankles, that's awesome as well. You don't have to, because now this is replacing your leg trying to cover that shoulder, okay? Make sense? Great, let's give that a try. And I come up, and I'm here, right? And he's like, oh shit, I'm gonna get triangle choke. And he withdraws his arm. It doesn't matter. I can still finish the choke. Okay? So if you're fighting someone that doesn't have arms, you can still choke them out. Okay? You look like an asshole, but you can still choke them out. Okay? So it doesn't matter. Once I have this and this, it doesn't matter anymore. Because I have, here's my triangle now. Before it was my legs, it's my forearm. His neck's inside this spot right here, I close it. Okay? So this works great. When you're in guard, the guy wants to do like a double underpass. Okay? Like Michael said, bait them into doing something, right? If he's not gonna defend, pushing that for you to get the regular triangle, loosen your guard up a little bit, bait them into doing a double under, choke them out. Okay, so just go try those two back and forth for a second, once again, with that grip, getting that, and then have them let the person withdraw the arm, and then see how you can finish the choke with just your legs and that one arm in there, okay? All right, let's go. All we're doing is we're taking that cross-collar choke grip that everybody learns at the very beginning, and I'm just gonna use that to replace one of my legs for the triangle choke, okay? So it's not about the legs, it's about the position. So what I want to do is now a no-gi option for that very similar choke, okay? So I get inside here, and for whatever reason, I can't get into that position. I can't cut the corner, right? What I'm gonna do, I do not grab my toes. I've seen people rip the shit out of their ankles trying to do triangle chokes like this because they're putting all this pressure on the foot. I'm gonna grab here, I'm gonna lock my hand inside. Okay, I'm gonna grab, come over top, and now I squeeze. So it's the same grip as if I was going for a collar, except I'm gonna grab here. Now, I don't have to bring the other leg over. I could crank it like a wrench, or I can come up and finish. Okay? So when you go, I'm inside, I'm gonna grab, pull it in so I get deep. Make sure your hand, like you say hello to yourself, so you can monkey grip it. You could, both hands here, finish it, or bring your leg over and finish. Okay, so it's a nice no-gi option to finish. So once again, that's the triangle right in here. And I'm just gonna keep, so don't hold on your leg. I like to let it slide like that so that it closes that gap. But don't pull on your foot. I guarantee you if you do that, one of you in here is gonna sprain your ankle today, right? Because you'd be like, ugh. Grab it there and lock it in like this, okay? And if you can't bring the foot over, if that doesn't work for you, pull it in like a wrench. Okay? Does that make sense? You need to see it again? No? Okay. All right, let's go. Try. More variation, then you can practice these two because they're going to kind of go off the same thing. This is going to go right back to kind of what I showed with that collar grip. Okay? I come up, I get Aaron here, he pulls that arm out because he thinks he's going to come around and stack me or try to rotate or whatever. I don't care at this point. I don't need that arm in there. Right? I just need this connection. Crank it or come up here. Okay? So once I have this established, I don't care what happens with that arm. Unless I want to break it, I don't care. Right? If I want to use that as the arm bar, that's fine. When he pulls it out, it actually, look, it makes it worse on him. Right? Because he's doing this. Right? He has no base. If he's inside, he can at least base out. Right? Now he's in here like this. And he's going to land and I'm going to be in a top mounted triangle, which is going to be a bad day. Okay? So, try both. I get up. And Paul asked a question like, what if someone's really digging their chin down? I don't care, because I'm going over the shoulder here, and I'm always going to be able to bite in behind the carotid artery when I get that head to tilt. And now it's just like, keep your chin down.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Because look, when your chin's down, your artery's still exposed, right? The chin works when someone's trying to come in with a collar and get it over, but when I'm sliding it this way, and now I'm using the force of my legs and my body to drive in, it's not gonna matter. You're gonna eventually pop that neck up, and I'm gonna get it, or it's gonna turn into a crank, right? Because that's a lot of torque that I'm getting. You can see how much Aaron's body, his head's twisting, right? There's a lot there. So don't worry about the chin being down. Drive that over, get that hook, and then you can use your leg and your forearm to drive it in nice and tight, okay? Make sense? Right, let's try it for a few more minutes. So, as I say, when you're doing this technique, the most important thing to do is if you need help, reach up with the non-choking hand, pull it in so that you can get it in nice and deep. Then you can reinforce if you have to, but allow this to come in, right? Don't pull or don't do this because now you're gonna have this in position, you're gonna have to let go. I wanna get it in all at the same time, okay? So, where's Aaron? There he is. All right, Tom, you're right there. So someone asked me what happens if I get stuck, okay? If you can cut the angle and kill that defensive arm, so look how my foot, turn around this way. See my foot's still in his hip, right? And I'm pushing him away and I'm blocking this. This is gonna be really hard for him to stack, right? Because he needs to straighten out his body, get his hips underneath his head, and be able to go up. There's a lot that has to happen there, okay? But if you find yourself in this position and you're here, you're squared off, you haven't been able to cut the angle, and you feel that they're gonna start to stack. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna brace my knee. I'm gonna reach up and pull that ankle in, and I'm gonna walk my way back, keeping my foot in contact. Now, see how he's drawn out? Once I get to where about my knee's about 90 degrees, I bring it over top, and I finish the triangle choke. So what I'm doing is I'm spreading them out, right? If Aaron's here, he's strong, he's structure, he's going to stack. As I keep drawing it, now if I get him over here, which is how I want him to be, it's really hard. But now I'm gonna keep drawing him out, drawing him out, drawing him out, drawing him out, drawing him out until he gets here. right? Now all that weight, he's gonna hang himself. I think Jen was talking about, when you stick your neck out, every inch is like 10 pounds of pressure. I'm gonna get him out there so that it feels like there's 1,000 pounds off his neck and get that knee squeeze, okay? But it's very important what you do. So I'm here, I'm going, I feel like he's gonna stack. Here, keep the foot on the hip and I walk out. Walk, walk, walk. When he's about here, yeah, I can see he's gonna start using his hand. I come over top, I can still hold on here. I like to still bring my foot to the hip and finish the squeeze. Because now I know I have that much distance between him and me. So I know I have almost the length of my leg, hip distance away from him, right? He's not gonna stack me that. If a guy can stack you, or a female can stack you doing that, thank them. Go buy them a beer, whatever their favorite drink is, and sit down and become their best friend, because they're gonna be a killer opponent to have. So don't try doing this, right? Because you may rake the shit out of your knee. Because I need to stop the shoulder advancement and the hip advancement, right? And as he tries to stack, I'm gonna keep using my leg to ratchet back. At some point he's gonna stop. I'm gonna lock it down. I'm gonna finish the triangle choke. Okay, does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right, let's give that one a try. Okay, a lot of times, where's Aaron? That's your grand second. Like in guard, right? Just normal guard. And I'm playing this, and I'm looking up at my opponent, right? See how I'm square? And my hips are on the ground, and my body's curved. So now he goes to stand up. Look, it's real easy. Go up, keep going, stand up, stack me. It's real easy when I'm keeping my head up to get stacked. Okay, go back down. If I keep my hips up and my head back, go. Right? It's really hard. Or maybe stacking that. Right? It takes a lot of effort and energy. So your hips are up, your head's back. That's why I want to have this nice strong structure when I'm here, right? And with my leg and I push him out. Okay? So I'm like this. Right? Don't be like this, because I can hardly move, and he's gonna get my hips up at some point. Well, my hips up, head back, and I'm doing this. Right? But that foot helps gauge how close he can get to me. And I know you'll see when your opponent does it, they'll go from trying to stack to putting the hand down to stop them from falling down. That's your cue to choke. Right? That's when they're saying, I've had enough. Right? I've given up. Let it go. Okay? Give it a try. The other thing I want to show you, this isn't a triangle choke, but something you can do commonly off a triangle defense. So, you go to your triangle choke, you're setting it up, and they wrap. Okay? Well, I've already showed you how I can deal with that as a choke. But I want to show you how you can deal with this as a submission. So I knock him over, and I just sit my hip on his wrist. Okay? So my hip's on his wrist. Right? So what's a submission when you've got someone's arm in this position? And the game's over. Okay? This looks stupid, and it is. It's the dumbest submission ever. But one of the guys he teaches at this camp a lot, Jay Bell, showed it, and I go, that's bullshit. How's it gonna work? And he's like, come here and do it. And it's like, it's crazy. So when you do this, you're gonna squeeze like you're doing the choke. I'm sitting heavy on his wrist. I just need to cup inside, maybe both, and lift that shoulder an inch off the ground. Okay? It's an option. So we'll just play with this for a minute. So I'm coming up, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing everything great. Oh crap, I forgot about that. Oh, I'm gonna bump him over. Squeeze, still make it very uncomfortable for him. Like, man, you just killed my highlight reel triangle choke. And finish with the shoulder lock. Okay?
Let's get a good close-up of that face.
It's a lot, all right? Does that make sense? But I'm kicking up at that angle, right? I'm lifting my hips up so I'm knocking them over. Because I have that hand wrapped around my leg, it's trapped, right? So it's the perfect side for me to sweep them over on. Okay? Yes?
For someone less powerful, is there something?
I'm not that powerful, believe me. So what I'm really doing is when I'm here, when I have this and I lock it, it's all about just driving your hips into them, right? Now, if I go and I drive my hips into Aaron, and now he lets go of that, then I'm gonna come back and I'll go into if I can't get the triangle, I'm gonna go in the armbar. right? But if they let the arm there, it doesn't matter. If you just sit here and anyone just pushes on the side, you're gonna go over. If he's pushing and he brings it back out, that arm is fair game for a triangle, right? Or if you can lock up, sorry, that's fair game for the arm bar, or you can lock up the triangle choke, okay? But there's guys that are stubborn and they lock down and they usually get right about here and it's really easy to knock them over. And then they're like this, like, well, that doesn't feel too bad. If you just do it to yourself, right? But you need to squeeze. He wraps up, over. So see how his shoulder is, right? He can kind of control how much movement's in that shoulder. I want to lock it down, right? I'm like, no, you're not going to get that, right? And I just look over his coach, and I do my baby bridge. So see, Pritt stuff can be offensive, right? There you go. So if you guys want to try that, that's a little extra bonus, but it's a nice one. So listen, if someone wraps you, right? Someone wraps you, go, I don't give a shit, because I can still choke you out. If you don't feel like doing that and you're here, you're right, pop them up, ride it, and we go. We'll also talk about, I'll just ride them up and finish the choke here in a bit. Okay? There's lots of places we can hit triangle chokes. But let's see if I want to try it for a second, okay? So let's talk about where else I can get a triangle from. All right, let's go. We're going to go to, let's go to Modified Kids Katana. This one's kind of a flashy one, but I like it. Because I have actually caught this on people. So I'll get in here. I like a Modified Kids Katana, right? It allows me to have really high level control of my opponent's, upper body, arms, and have access to their face. But sometimes what'll happen, they'll start to get an underhook, which is fine. When someone underhooks you here, all I need to do is just pinch in, right? So that I'm controlling that arm. So if he wants to get it out, he's got to make a big motion. So while he's doing that, and I clamp the shoulder, I'm just going to push his hand down and bring it in. But when I bring it in, see how I'm pinching it, and I'm driving his elbow up. So I can be here off my hip, right? And I'm just kind of riding my toes. Now, I can break his arm from here very easily, right? I can go for wrist locks, but what I want to do is I want to go to a mounted triangle because it's cool, right? It's a highlight reel. I want to do it. So I'm going to have a nice good C-clamp on his wrist, and this is why I need him up. So as I move, my leg pinch is going to help me. I'm going to base out, pop up, underneath, and I come up. Now, remember what I said. Hide the shoulder. And sit back. Okay, his carotid arteries are here and here. So I'm literally sitting on them. Okay, I don't have to cross my ankles, which I may break my ankle or calf slice myself. Okay, it has nothing to do with this. It's this. So I can sit with my knees together. Okay, so watch one more time. Once again, this one's fancy, but let's just play with it. So I'm here, they start to get the underhook, right? I let him have it, I pinch it. Okay, he's gonna struggle with that. I'm gonna push his hand out, ride it over, cup that elbow, and bring it in, okay? So right away I have the opportunity to go after the arm. Okay, I'm gonna pull up on it as I lift my hips up. He's out. His head's up. This is why I need to pull. Chop it in underneath. Come forward. Hide the shoulder. So I'm at a 45-degree angle. I could break his arm here if I wanted to, but I'm gonna sit down and get the choke. Okay, does that make sense? One more time. Aaron, you have a fan. You have a fan.
One more time, full speed, all the way.
One more time. So I'm here, so go, I'm blocking it, right? I play, this is usually the hardest part to get, and they're kind of freaking out about it, so they're moving around. And it happens that fast. Okay? It happens that fast. Right? But you need to, as you're going, pull them up. So you're here, that head's up, you're lifting it, you're kicking that in, and dropping that down. I'm just bringing my knees together, and I'm at a 45-degree angle. So his neck is right in there, okay? And you have the arm bar there if you want it, right? Knock him out, break his arm, knock him out, whatever you want to do. Okay, but be careful when you do this. This choke goes on really, really, really fast. Okay, goes really, really fast. You good with it? You need to see it again on somebody else? I can do it again. All right, let's give this one a try.
I only got like 3 brains though.
Now, who's ever thought about, man, I'm gonna hit an omoplata because I want to get a mounted triangle choke? Okay, if you've watched my Globetrotter camp from Arizona last year, you kind of see where that was coming from. I did a whole thing on omoplatas that had nothing to do with the shoulder submission. It was everything to do with all kinds of other submissions. So, I don't want to give an omoplata, session here, but what I do is I come up, break it over. And what I'm always looking to do is, once again, I want to kill that defensive hand, right? And I drag Aaron down, and I get him here, right? I get him in this position. Now I can let go of that hand. I'm going to posture up, and I'm going to come in and wrap my elbows. If you can't see, come around this way. Or actually, you know what? I wrap with my forearm, not just here. I want to get the whole thing because I don't want my arm to get in the way of this arm. And I posture up, I let that pop out, sit back, I have a triangle. Okay? One more time. It's going to be here, block, set them omoplata, right? I drag them down, catch us underneath. Come up nice and tight, right? Sit up. I let that arm flop. If I want, I grab it for the arm bar. If not, I just sit back, finish the choke. Okay? I just let it in front of me. As long as it's in front. The hand, I'm just going to hold it till I get him down to the ground. I drag him down, and then I'm going to throw my leg inside. Yeah, I mean, there's ways to do it, right? Like I can get in here, right, and I can get him down and, start playing, right? And if he wants to posture, I can hit it here. Same thing, ride it, and I can go. Once again, I can set up my arm bars from here, but all I have to do is now just cover that shoulder, and I have the submission. Okay, it's just easier when you have the arm because he can't post, right? So he's like this. Oh shit! Boom, 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 boom. Right? And there's all kinds of stuff you can do from here. The triangle's a nice one to do. Does that make sense? Show one more time.
It's the last one. Last brain cell.
So I have the omoplata, and I'm just dragging him down, right, till he comes to his side. Because this is a common defense to turn inside, right? It's common defense to turn inside. So I'm just going to catch it. Posture up. Don't grab here because my arm's going to get in the way of clearing this arm, and I need this arm to clear. So I'm here, right? Especially if I got an injury. Boom. Come up. Let that clear. See, there's that space. No matter triangle. Cover that space. He's out. Okay? Does that make sense? All right, let's do that one time. I talked about this a little bit the other day. So, once again, if you want to know more about backpack, you can check out the Globetrotter instructional on that. So this is what I call backpack position, right? So I'm kind of sitting at him on that wedge, right? I got my Kimura trap position, right? There's tons of nasty things I can do with gi or no gi on him. But it's real easy for me to set up triangle chokes from here, right? So if we're playing that hand game and he's fucking around and I can't get it, look, I'm gonna reach down and grab the foot. This foot keeps blocking the hip, right? Sometimes I'll cup the chin, especially in no gi, because I don't have a gi grip. And I'm gonna pull this leg up so that my heel comes underneath his armpit, right? And I'm sitting back here. So once again, I'm pulling on here and I have his head. Then I can bring my leg up over here. And I like to come back and pull so that shoulder comes inside. And I just squeeze my knees, side shoulder. Okay? If they don't go out by the choke, they're gonna go with the shoulder submission, right? And then the shoulder submission, if they're not doing that, you just unwind that arm under the arm bar, under your armpit arm bar, and you can break it. Okay? So from here, I'm in this position, right? We're playing the game. I can't get it, especially if I had gi. I have all kinds of options using my lapel and collar to choke. All right? So I'm trying to choke him here. Yeah, and he's defending it. Look, I'm gonna grab. If I grab that chin, it's great, and I'm here. And I'm getting him long, right? I'm dropping him into the executioner's box to get hung. I pull this back, over top, squeeze, and I can finish. Okay, does that make sense? Alternatively, I can come and pull the other direction and do the same sort of submission there. But what happens is I end up choking him with the bottom half of my leg, okay, at the Achilles. But let's try this one first. So without air in there, I'm in this position, right? This is underneath his head, chin strap, grab it, pull him back. Here, get this underneath his armpit. Elongate him, right? And around. Grab that shoulder, squeeze, and give that kind of little baby bridge kind of motion so that you can put your hips in. Okay? Does that make sense? All right, let's give it on track. So I've shown you guys a bunch of different ways to finish triangles, but the one concept I want you guys to walk away with is when I do a triangle choke, I have to hide that shoulder, right? So that my knees are in nice and tight. So Aaron, if you're here, it's the same thing like you're doing a head arm triangle, right? You know, if you took Pritt's class yesterday, I get in here and I'm hiding, it's over and done with, right? But once it can start to build and I can't hide that, I don't have the choke. So when I'm doing triangle, if I'm trying to do a traditional way and I'm worried about this and he has this, I'm not gonna get the choke, right? You see a lot of people pull on the head, okay, and they start to crank, right? That becomes more of a crank. You're in a tournament, you need to get the crank, you need to get the points, you need to get the win, that's great, okay? But I'm trying to choke him, right? I want the ultimate victory in jiu-jitsu, which is the kill, which is the choke, he's out, right? No one can out-train a choke, right? You can't train and go, I'm gonna make my carotid artery stronger, okay? Once I get it, it's done, okay? So I need to always think like, shit, how do I do that? Oh, maybe I bring my arm in to hide the shoulder, okay? I got the collar grip, I hide the shoulder. Right? Or I maneuver myself that I'm at the right angle that I can finish it. Don't get caught in the illusion that your feet have to be like this for a triangle choke. Okay? Actually, I said I was going to show you guys this. I'm not even going to cross my feet. Okay? Because what did I do? I hide the shoulder. Right? It's hidden. Right? I could cross my legs, but I don't have to. And I cycle. And I can finish. Okay? So it's not about crossing feet. It's getting this part of your legs to compress the arteries, right? If the shoulder's in there, it helps. If there's an arm in there, it helps, okay? But it's not about trying to get this deep hook underneath your knee. If you can do that and finish it, awesome. Okay, but we're not all built to do that. We don't have that flexibility. You may have an injury where you can't do that. So now you've got some options to go with finishing stuff with just one leg. Okay, or like I said, even putting it down and just cycling through. Right? If you have any questions, because we're about here to start the open mat, come and ask me. Thank you all for coming out. I know there's one more class tomorrow, but I'm not sure how well attended that's going to be. So it's always an honor to teach kind of the last big class of camp. So appreciate everyone coming out, and you've all survived the week, which is awesome to see. So now we'll have our open mat and kind of party tonight, and look forward to seeing you guys. All right, thank you.